Cooper Beebe is, of course, on the Wild Fork Foods hot seat. WildForkFoods.com, elite game day grilling favorites. How the hell are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Can't complain. It's beautiful out here.
Congratulations on year one. Everything going to plan for you so far?
Yeah. Year one was definitely an interesting experience for me. Obviously never playing center. It was definitely kind of eye-opening. Learned a lot. Now it's really comfortable for me this year, too. It's definitely slowed down a lot, just the understanding of the position, the offense, and that kind of thing. So it's been a lot more, a lot easier than it was last year.
Right on, man. So you got a lot more confidence. You feel comfortable setting up coverages and everything like that, or blocking schemes?
Yeah, absolutely. Just more comfortable with the position, understanding the offense as a whole, making ID points, that kind of thing. Last year I kind of felt like at times, I wasn't super vocal, wasn't super confident with it. But, now this year I feel comfortable. I'm out there, commanding the offense. So, yeah.
How cool has it been having your old offensive line coach from college, Connor Riley?
It's huge. It was kind of funny. He had just, when the whole, we were looking for an O-line coach, he had just randomly texted me and he was like, "Hey, I'm in Frisco for an interview." And it kind of, shocked me. Of course, Shotty, had called me during the offseason, kind of, what I thought about him. And, obviously he's a tremendous coach, a phenomenal person. And, next thing I know, he's my coach again. So, it feels great, just like old times. He's a really tremendous coach, has a really great understanding of the game and can really develop players. And I think that's something that, we needed.
What do you think of the new scheme?
Oh, I love it. I think they do a good job, especially having Clayton Adams. I think they do a really good job, especially in the run game, is putting us in, ideal positions to succeed. Obviously, just looking down at practice, there's a lot of trade shift motions and stuff this year, and, really makes the defense kind of settle down and have to think about things. So I think that's going to play into our advantage.
How different is it, and how familiar were you with this stuff from back in college?
It's there's similarities, difference to last year, and a lot of it is stuff that I ran in college. So, a lot of this stuff, it's funny, when we talked to Coach Riley, it's like, hey, you remember running, this play, this game, versus this team? And I'm like, I really don't, but I guess you do. But no, a lot of this stuff, it's very, similar to what, we kind of did in college.
Cooper Beebe with us on the Fan. Tyler Booker is an absolute stud muffin. I mean, the middle of that offensive line, you guys just have a ton of power. And one of the things I loved about you out of K-State, that mauling mentality. So how is it now getting both Tylers and being in the middle of there?
Oh, man, it makes my job, a lot easier. When you have those two studs right next to you, it's easy to move the point. Like you said, both, super strong, athletic guys, and, especially in the run game, we're able to move people, so it makes my job a lot easier.
Yeah, there's a situation when you have you went through it last year. Sometimes you make these calls, and you're not how confident you're like, okay, I got to make this call, this set the protection, whatever. How different has that been, like from last year of now, like kind of maybe I'm going to make this call, set this protection, into this year, like you just yell it, and you just, last year, like, okay, if I make this call, I'm about to send this whole line somewhere in another direction. Yeah. But now you have to have that confidence, I believe, that you got, hey, when you make it, you bark it, and it goes.
Yeah, and I think just the biggest thing is really, for me, was just understanding our offense and what we're trying to do, with set protection,
right,
run, and really I think a big thing is understanding what defenses try to do,
right.
And especially with our defense, they like to show weak rotation a lot and that kind of thing, and you kind of figure out, okay, when is the safety going to be down, when is he not, how's that going to affect the ID, and I think I just really got comfortable understanding our offense and being able to understand it. It allows me to play confident. And at the end of the day, I think one of the biggest things, Shotty kind of told me, instilled in me,
sure,
is, you got to make a call as long as we're all on the same page,
right,
even if it's the wrong ID,
right,
as long as we're going the right way, like, that's what you want. And I think that's, really resonated with me and allowed me to go out there and make a call confidently.
How nice is it to have backs that when you guys get those blocks, you get hip to hip and you push that second level, and that ball is already like near you or past you, and those guys are making cuts. It's happening quick for you guys inside with the way that these backs have been able to run the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the backs we have, we got a lot of them, really, really great talent. And I think that one of the biggest things that I really like, especially as O-line, is, they really know how to set up their blocks.
There you go.
And I think, that's a huge part of being O-line. And, a lot of the time, especially like perimeter game stuff, like, they got to help you out.
Yeah.
You're out there running in space.
Right.
They got to put dudes on you. And I think they do a really good job of that, and it's nothing better, when you get a nice double team or a nice fit and you just see the running back spit out right behind you.
It was fun watching you catch Stars fever, just like the rest of us during that playoff run, man. How was the experience and then the beer chug moment? That was bleeping legendary.
Iconic.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because obviously being in Kansas, we didn't have any professional hockey teams, and we did way back. I think they're the New Jersey Devils now.
Yeah,
but,
Kansas City Scouts.
Yeah, but,
Back in Kansas,
I had no interest in hockey. I didn't really know much about it. Then, obviously, get drafted here. Dallas Stars was doing well, so I took me and my fiance to a game, and we were hooked. And then, we get invited the whole line. We go, sit in a suite, and, you always see those videos go viral. Some dude – they don't show this, but some dude right before us took off his prosthetic and started drinking out of that.
Yeah.
So, when it got to our turn, we were like, hey, we got to one-up him, try to do something. And, we were into it. I was into it. It was just a fun experience. And, now I'm hooked on hockey.
You think you're the best beer chugger on the team?
Oof. I've put myself high up there, yeah. I've downed a few beers in my day.
I love it. Cooper Beebe here with you on the Fan. Are you still getting practice reps in with Mom?
A little bit, yeah. Not as much as, year one, but, there's definitely still some times out there, especially, in the off time. She's definitely still getting the work out there.
See, I was going to ask the question about that, too. I'm glad you did that because I was saying, this Mom, is she able to kind of maybe coach some other people up? And people seen the video, and all of a sudden, she's got like a snapping school.
She's giving
she's like, hey, listen, look what I did. I put a guy in the NFL. No bad snaps. Come to me if you want to learn how to do a little snapping.
No, it's funny because, anytime we go someplace, one of her friends or one of our friends, like they always bring it up. It's always, it always comes like, oh, you've gone viral. You're out there, you're just like Dak and that kind of thing. So it's kind of funny, just anywhere we go.
It's Cooper Beebe here with you on the Fan. Okay, we love seeing the teammates supporting one another, and today that's supporting Micah Parsons. How is that as you're observing this story from a player's perspective? Is it a distraction at all?
No, I think the biggest thing for us is we're here for a job. We can't let that, we're here to get better, continue to get better each day, and that's something that's out of our hands, something we don't have control of. So, we're really just focused on getting better each day.
Does it shake your faith at all that if you have just an outstanding career that maybe this team would hesitate to reward you?
No, I'm just going to continue to do what I can and let the things happen how they do.
Physically, you're looking pretty damn good. How's the body changed since last season?
I think the biggest thing is, definitely put on a lot more muscle and turned, some of that body fat into muscle, I think was the biggest thing for me. And just continue, to build that strength.
Hey, Cooper, we always kind of talk about the rookie wall. Is there a rookie wall for players? I mean, you're used to kind of getting through that college season, and then all of a sudden, now you're in December, you're like, wait a minute, I should be getting ready for a bowl game or the Big 12 championship game. Is there really that wall that you have to kind of push through?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially just like you said, when you're, I'm watching K-State in a bowl game and, we have 8 more games to play.
Yeah.
No, there definitely is. But really for me, especially playing last year, I couldn't allow myself to hit that wall, especially being the center. You have a really important job to do, and I wasn't trying to let those guys down. I had to bring my best every day, so I didn't really allow that wall to hit me. But it's definitely a thing. It gets tough. They're later in the season when, like you said, in college you'd be done, but you still got a long way to go.
Well, especially when they stack all those division games against you, and you got Philadelphia and Washington, the Giants, they got all these big old defensive tackles that are all. I'm like, wait a minute now. I'm already tired. Now you're making me block all these big old guys. So I was wondering like that, how that all plays out when you get those. And this division's known for that, these defensive tackles. And you've had to deal with it your first year, and here we are going again, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Our division is definitely stacked on the D line. It definitely poses a challenge, but you got to love a challenge. Why play the game if you're not willing to to accept that challenge.
100%.
Cooper, historically, have you been a training camp fighting guy, and is that changing at all under Shoddy?
I'm not. I personally, I feel like it takes too much energy, especially, the people that fight, early in practice. It's like, you got to go against the same guy 40 more times.
Yeah.
Like, I just, I'm not one to fight. I want to conserve my energy for the play and not the fighting.
Why is it always Brock?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to tell Hoffman, dude, relax. We're going to be running here if you just stop. Just stop. We don't want to run anymore. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Cooper. That was tremendous. And again, congrats on your success your rookie year, and give him hell. We'll be pulling for you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.